You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver.
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
Hello, everybody. The Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast is here. We're queer, and we're gonna drink all of your beer. Starlight, Starbright, what kind of insanity will happen tonight? We know, and your ears will delight at all of the wrestling plight within this podcast blight. Rhymes for days. I do these intros in one take, and damn it, I nail it every single time. Ransom the Madman is here with Poot the Barbarian and Tiger the Champ Bomb Tom. We're going to do picks tonight for Wrestlemania Backrash. Thank you to Poot the Bard for putting that delightful gem in my head. I'll never be able to forget it. We are Sans Beef the Legend this evening. He's gallivanting as he's wont to do. But we're here to tell you all about how we feel about wrestling. And it is the month of May, which means this is the first time ever in the history of this dilapidated little podcast that we are going to defend the P3 title against somebody who is not one of the four idiots that run this show. Bob Gray, you're going to get your shot at the P3 title this month with two different events to pick from.
Count them, two.
I will post a video. Yes, I will post a video tomorrow, Mr. Gray, and let you know exactly what you need to do in order to try and win this title. Let's go ahead and get into the poop sandwich that is this podcast. Boys, go.
All right, so I'm going to start off with a little bit of fast count news. Two things really quick. Todd Pertingirl. Tom, you want to go ahead and give me some music?
First of all, how dare you?
Sorry
that you mixed me up with Chirper. And
oh no, I'm sorry. I'll never mix you up with purr again.
Chirper. And two.
Here's a little fast count news for you from your very own barbarian, Poot the Bard. Baby. Bringing back a classic there. Number one, Thea Trinidad is apparently back at the WWE Performance Center, kind of faffing around there, training for a possible return. Thea Trinidad, you might know better as Zelina Vega, who is not only a wildly talented women's wrestler, What?
She's back at the Performance Center.
Yes. Reportedly.
Yes. My goodness.
As you know, Zelina Vega was released. She was part of that release back in November, I believe it was. And her big complaint was she had an OnlyFans, settle down, fellas, non-nude. It was whenever she was doing her she does cosplay. She does like really detailed cosplay stuff, and she has an OnlyFans.
They're really good.
Yeah, she really does a great job. And she got the hammer brought down on her by WWE, like saying, you can't do that. You have to shut it down. And she was like, no, get fucked. And she was granted her release or released or best wishes in her future endeavor. And she went and raised hell about it. Was like, this is bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not even just for herself, but for the benefit of people being able to earn a little bit of money with things like Twitch, YouTube, whatever that's outside of the WWE umbrella. However, that being said, recently she was seen at the WWE Performance Center, presumably being brought back in. I would personally prefer her using the name Thea Trinidad. I think it's a little more badass than Zelina Vega, but Zelina Vega is still pretty cool. But that's a little bit of news.
Wow.
Also, yeah, isn't that cool? Isn't that kind of cool? Like,
I didn't hear anything about that. That is a great fast count news, Poot.
Thank you. Yeah. And then also, and I think this will be a good segue into talking a little bit about AEW, because we do have to get to some picks here for Backrash and WrestleMania Backlash. The other piece of fast count news is something that happened on AEW last night. I was drinking it in, man. The AEW from last night here today, and I was watching, and I had read while the first little bit of it was going on, and I was watching Moxley, and who was it? It was I'm terrible. Yuji
Nagata.
Yuji Nagata. Yeah, it was Moxley and Yuji Nagata.
New Justice.
It was really good match. They told a really good story. But later on in the event, there was going to be a number one contenders match for Kenny Omega's AEW title, and it was Pac versus Orange Cassidy, and the match did happen. I was about to say it was supposed to be, but it happened. At a certain point in the match, apparently it was not supposed to end the way it did. For those who didn't watch, Pac and Orange Cassidy, old freshly squeezed himself, were having a really good match. And at the end, they went to a commercial break, and they came back, and Orange Cassidy had gotten his bell rung super hard. There's a debate where it happened, but it was within the same 5 seconds of the match. Pac threw a super kick at Orange Cassidy, which looked like it rocked the shit out of him. But then he power bombed him, did a sit out power bomb, and Orange Cassidy landed super high on his head. Now the thing, because wrestlers get their bell rung, but they came back from the break, and Orange Cassidy was being attended to by people and being like, "Yo, are you okay?" And originally the end of the match, apparently, and I got this from WrestleZone, apparently the end of the match was supposed to be them going to a 20-minute time limit draw and then saying, "Hey, it's going to be both you guys versus Kenny Omega in a triple threat." Well, because Orange Cassidy got his bell rung and he couldn't finish the match, the way that they worked it was they sent out Don Callis to start mouthing off, and they had Kenny Omega come in and hit Pac from behind and rock him. Now, this was all done outside the vision of the referee. Referee starts 10 count, okay? Gets the 10, both men eliminated. Don Callis and Kenny Omega are mouthing off, saying, "Oh, there is no winner, so I don't have to defend." And then it was announced that there would be a triple threat match. So my point was, Orange Cassidy apparently is going to be just fine, but he really got rocked. And I was really concerned that he got a nasty concussion or injured his neck. But apparently, from reports, he is fine. But that's why that ended kind of weird. And Don Callis and Kenny Omega sounded a little scattered. Now, they sound scattered because of their gimmick. But right now, they were kind of a little more like they're trying to fill space, fill time, and make something work. And it's because they did. They worked that on the fly.
That's really good.
So
that's the kudos to them for doing it.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, that when I saw Don Callis come out, I was like, they're gonna have a fucky ending and it's gonna end in a triple threat. I that much. I kind of saw the writing on the wall, but I didn't know that's the reason why they did it. So kudos to them for coming up with that on the fly. I think that speaks a testament to if you trust your performers enough to not have them be so overly scripted to the point where they can't think on the fly and they can't adjust, then, if you give them a little bit of creative freedom, I mean, you let them grow and they can do shit like that, they can make those calls. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And you see that, AEW did it. Yeah. Okay. Was it a little slanted? Yes. But when you have to throw people out there and say, go out there and make this work, it's going to feel a little stiff, but it's better than what happened on Raw. And Ransom, did you catch any wrestling this week?
No, I did not. It's been a very busy week.
Understandable. I get that. So on Raw, and Tom, you watched Raw. There was the match between Sheamus and Humberto Carrillo, which
I did. But I'm not gonna lie. I don't even remember anything. I don't remember any high points of Raw. This is why for the last 2 weeks I've not done a morning after review, because there's been nothing that's jumped off the page. The The only vivid memory I have of Monday Night Raw was the end of that women's tag match or whatever, when Alexa Bliss was like up on the stage, and then Shayna Baszler suffered like some voodoo doll effect sort of thing.
Oh, remember when we tried that with the Ultimate Warrior and he threw up green because Papa Shango did some jiggery pokery to him?
Remember when Randy Orton threw up black like Papa like the Ultimate Warrior did?
That though,
you guys remember when the Fiend used to be relevant?
Pepperidge Farm remembers the
Farm remembers.
You
remember? I remember. You better remember.
You better remember. But that's my point, is that like, you're right, WWE is boring, but the Randy Orton thing I gave a pass to, because Randy Orton could make it work. He really did. He played into that, like where he was talking to himself and he was freaked out. He sold the throwing up, like What
was the thing? What happened with Humberto and Sheamus? I forget.
So Sheamus and Humberto, there was a spot where Sheamus was on the outside and Humberto was doing a sunset flip power bomb to the outside.
Yeah, and that was towards the end.
I saw this and it said Humberto Carrillo, like it was like said like U.S. title match. That was a ransom caliber burp right there. I would say. It was during the U.S. title match, and Humberto Carrillo. First of all, I was super glad to see that he was getting some TV time again, like on Raw. Because Humberto is really talented. The problem is he needs to break out of white-faced baby meat territory. But he went to do a sunset flip powerbomb to the outside, and his legs, you know how like when you do a sunset flip powerbomb, usually the person giving the powerbomb lands on their feet and powerbombs the person on the outside? Well, Humberto's feet went out from under him forward, so it was a sit-out, and Sheamus landed right on his left leg. It was gross. When I saw it, I swear to God, if you go back and watch the video, you hear this loud crack, and I almost threw up because I had flashbacks.
Oh, no.
I had flashbacks to breaking my femur, and like I literally almost threw up. And
did he break it?
No. So apparently, and this is courtesy of Uncle Dave Meltzer. Like that now, and when I saw the report, it was like Humberto Carrillo injured. And I'm going to bring this back around to our original point, but I was like, oh my God, he broke his femur, because like he rolled over and he like stiffened up and put his hands in towards his, like shrugged his shoulders and like did the thing like where you put your hands over each other, and like he was kind of just like wiggling his body to get away from the situation. And I was like, oh God, he's hurt. Or he like dislocated his hip or something like that, because the noise it made was grotesque. And they had to stop the match. And this is where I'm going to circle back around. So that happened. And obviously the health and safety of the performers is paramount. That's absolutely paramount. You know, they're people. They have to be taken care of. You know, we saw that whenever Ridge Holland, royally fucked up his leg. Like, it has to happen. So, with this, obviously, you got to make sure Humberto's right and Sheamus is right and everyone's okay. And yes, stopping the match was a necessary thing. But again, because you don't really have an interesting storyline, there's nothing really deep. There's nothing really interesting. There's no other facets going on. All you have, and it seems to be the modus operandi of WWE, is that whenever something goes wrong, this match is a no contest, and then you have the commentators being like, "Oh my, well, this is a serious situation." Blah 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 blah, and that's it. Like there's never anything like they did on AEW, where they had the room to have Don Callis come out and have Kenny Omega come out and work that. You know what I mean? Like it's always in WWE just stop the match. This match is a no contest. Or a count out, or the ref just goes, ring the bell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's boring. And again, I'm not trying to minimize the safety and making sure that everyone's okay. But the thing you also don't have to do is show that clip like 4 times in a row on Raw.
That too.
Yeah. Like if
There's no creativity behind the ending of said match, is what you're saying. Like AEW had a creative way to end it. WWE just goes, all right, it's over. Match ended.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
I don't know if
sorry,
you
guys.
Caught that. No, that's my bad. I forgot to mute my phone. I was getting a call from somebody. We're live. No.
It's never. Yeah, it hasn't always been that case though with WWE.
No.
Because if you look back to the Steve Austin incident where Owen Hart dropped him on his head, they still had a creative way to end that. You know, Owen Hart jabber-jawed with the fans for a while until, you know, Austin was able to roll him up in his own words in the worst roll-up ever. But it was still, they thought on their feet, you know, they acted on the fly. Whereas nowadays it's like, oh, something went wrong. Ding, ding, ding. Match over.
Well, and that also leads back to the idea that, like, in that situation, because the injury was so severe with Steve Austin, that
yes,
the argument could be made that in that scenario, yeah, you stop the fucking match. You know what I mean? Like, but I understand what you're saying, and that shows the caliber of an Owen. Now, to be fair, and not to belittle the two, but you're talking about Sheamus and Humberto Carrillo versus Owen Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm sorry.
Good looking point there, buddy.
It's two different worlds, and it was a whole different world back then as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. And I was going to say, you probably wouldn't have something nowadays where, like, you wouldn't even have the Triple H situation where he tore his fucking quad and
kept working.
And kept working, and you know, one of the next spots, and Jericho always recalls it too, is that he says, I was supposed to put him in the walls, and I asked Hunter, what do you want me to do? He said, put me in the fucking walls, and he did. And oof.
Well, it's the thing is,
so listen, I can't. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, at that point, to Hunter's credit, you can't really get more injured than, you know, because your quad basically. Have you ever rolled up a blind? It's that. When you tear your quad, that's what happens. Like, your quad's up in your hip. Like, so at that point, I mean, Triple H, it's like, you just deal with the pain. Now, I'm not saying that, it's just easy to just deal with the pain of a torn quad. But at that point, Hunter, he could withstand it. He had the fortitude to do it. And he's like, you know what? I can't get any more injured than I already am. Just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that also goes to show the caliber. And I know we've gotten off topic here onto Triple H praise, but I don't care. I think the man deserves to be praised. That shows the caliber and commitment of him, because he really could have said, like, maybe don't put me in the walls. Like, I'll continue the match, but maybe don't put me in the walls of Jericho, because I can't imagine, I've never torn my quad, so I can't imagine the type of pain that is. And B, I can't imagine having a torn quad and then being put in the walls of Jericho. To have your legs stretched like that with a torn quad, sweet Mary Moses, that has to be some sort of excruciating amount of pain that I don't know that I'd be able to take. And kudos to that man for not only continuing the match, but continuing the match in that spot and saying, now put me in it, let's do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, that's a consummate professional right there.
And I'll tell you what, and kudos, and I'm going to give another kudos to the GOAT. Fucking Jericho, when he talked about it, I think the last time when he talked about it was whenever he was on the Broken Skull session with Austin. And he said, he's like, I try to do it as gingerly as possible. He's like, now, Hunter's not a small guy. He's like, it's hard enough to, you know, he's a big dude, so it's already, you know, you're already moving around a mountain of a man as it is. But now you're trying to do it as gingerly as possible when, you know, he really can't, like, help you out. It's like, it's not a fucking easy thing, you know.
He basically is shitbagging, you know what I mean?
Yeah, basically. But if you go back and watch that now, knowing what we know, you can tell, like, Jericho was, like, really handling him with kid gloves, and, you know, I mean, he tried to do the best he could, and, you know, and then he sold the, you know, Jericho sold, you know, wrenching it in and stuff as you would.
Yeah.
In any situation.
But the thing to that match is, if you didn't know, like, if you were, I can tell you this right now, from me watching that match when it happened, I didn't know that he tore his quad.
Oh yeah, until they told you he did. Yeah.
Right. So watching the match without knowing he had a torn quad, I'll say this to both of those guys. I would not have known what I was looking at had I not known what to look for.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if I didn't know to look for Jericho to try to be ginger with him and to try to take it a little bit easier on him, I would never have known because it looked so realistic. Realistic, quote, air quotes there.
Well, yeah.
It looked like Jericho was just putting the walls of Jericho on somebody.
Right.
I have to know. Now I know what to look for. Like, you know what I mean? I'm going back and looking like, oh, this is where he puts it in, and he does it gingerly.
And
I can see it now. At the time, I couldn't.
Well, that I think that speaks, like you said, not only to the work rate of these guys and the desire they have to make the match as good as it can and take it to where they want it to go, but and again, I think even back then it was still just a different world. Like it was still a different attitude, and those guys, I mean. It's bridging the gap of like who they were trained by and the type of, regulations and what's expected. Because back then you look at someone like Paul Levesque or Levesque or however you want to say it. He was trained by Killer Kowalski. Like, I mean, that generation of guys were trained by the old school guys who were like, you work hurt, you do whatever.
Oh yeah,
because they
Killer
had
Kowalski
to.
was a dude to where Killer Kowalski was a dude to where he could have gotten shot by a shotgun in the arm, and he still would have been throwing a clothesline.
Yeah.
They were like, well,
Oh yeah.
shit, I got peppered in the arm, but you know what? I got to clothesline this guy, so here it comes. It's going to hurt, but you know what? Grit your teeth and do it.
And
like it was just a different, like you said, Poot. It was a different time, and it was a different. It was a different style of person.
And that's not to say that one is better than the other, because honestly,
no,
these guys now are some of the best athletes, and I will argue that to my dying day. The guys who are wrestling right now, some of them are some of the best athletes. Like Tom, I think bringing it back around to AEW, I think you can agree watching the Darby Allin Miro match. Miro is another level of human being. Like,
oh yeah,
he's just. It's unreal, and understandably, framing it against someone who's as slight as Darby Allin makes him look even more like a beast. But like, you don't get that way by not being dedicated to your conditioning and to your strength. I mean, even if you look at a guy like Pac, if you look at Kenny Omega, who admittedly, and I'll say this, and Beef can argue with me when he comes back, Kenny Omega, he's gotten a little softer since his New Japan days. Like, just his build, he's gotten a little softer. Now, that doesn't change his work rate at all. But, like, he's a little sort of thing. But, like, these guys, they bust their asses to be in the condition they're in. And even some of the bigger guys you look at and you might think they're out, like Bronson Reed. Like, you look at someone like Bronson Reed in NXT. That man is like what he can do as a big man is incredible, and he's even said that one of his, idols is Bam Bam Bigelow. And you want to talk about a guy, Bam Bam Bigelow was insane. I mean, like, and I don't know. Like, I think it's like two whole different worlds and everything, but like touching more on, AEW, and I understand. I don't know like how you guys want to go about this because we don't have Beef to wrangle in the insanity, so we can just kind of go.
I'll wrangle it in. I'll wrangle it in for a moment because I'm going to take back over.
Go. I'm sorry. Oh, I went a little ransom there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you never go full ransom. Just never. That's not good.
I'm gonna wrangle it in. We can circle back to this because I have a point to make about the
jerk back, more like it. Anyway, go on.
We might. It's another Mickey Dick episode. Get ready.
Damn it.
No, I'm gonna take back the job that I never technically gave up. I don't believe. And I'm gonna scribe these fucking picks out. So let's not. We only have 6 matches to pick. We can pontificate a little bit on those if we want. But
it's perk term with turd pertin girl. All right, go.
Can't. Oh my god.
Okay.
All right, so we
You
got
good?
6. Yeah, I'm good. we got 6 matches to pick for
Oh, no.
WWE WrestleMania Backrash.
I choked on my water.
Good. But we got 6 matches to pick, so this will be event 1 for the month of May, and then the next event and final event for the month of May is AEW Double or Nothing. I'm sure that's going to be a super stacked card, more than 6 matches. We don't know if there's any pre-show matches or anything like that, or if there even is a pre-show with Backrash. So we're going to get what we get. But here we go. I'm going to lead things off, and we'll go around rotation as we normally do. So the first match I got down is Damian Priest versus The Miz, and it's a lumberjack match. On Monday Night Raw, Damian Priest faced off against Johnny Drip Drip, which still sounds like a fucking venereal disease or prostate issue. Get it fixed, Johnny.
Got a case of the old Johnny Drip Dips.
Johnny Drip.
The Johnny Drip Dicks.
Johnny Drip Drip. Droopy.
Oh,
Johnny
Droopy Drip Dicks. Oh, no.
That's Ric Flair.
Listen, Ric
That's the
Flair's
name
not
of my
wrestling.
ska band.
Ric Flair's not wrestling in this match.
The Droopy Drip Dicks.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Droopy
love it.
Drip Dicks. That's my ska band.
It's trying to say that 3 times fast. Oh my
Nah,
god.
I'm
That's
good.
an
I don't need to
alliteration
go on a
nightmare.
list. Let's get this done.
All right, so it's a lumberjack match. Damian Priest got to pick the stipulation because he beat John Morrison on Raw. So, excuse me, I'm going to lead this off. I'm picking Damian Priest for the win. I don't see why there's a reason to have Miz go over. Miz still can eat all the pins in the world, and he's still the Miz. So at the end of the day, what does it hurt if Miz loses this match? We want to build up Damian Priest more and get him in that mid-card title hunt. Maybe have him versus Sheamus for the U.S. title at some point, maybe at SummerSlam. Who knows? So my pick is Damian Priest. Poot, who do you got?
I'm also going to go Damian Priest again. You know, we need to keep pushing him. Like, I'm saying this like I'm part of the fucking show, but like like they need to keep pushing Damian Priest. They absolutely do. I think they have a lot of money in Punishment Martinez there. Like, I really do. They need to keep working with him. And like you said, The Miz could eat every pin in the universe and people still love him and still appreciate him. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And he, no matter what, at the end of the day, he still has a Hall of Fame career. All of his accolades, all of his accomplishments.
Easy.
I mean, and even if he decided to quit wrestling, he could go off and do movies or reality TV or something. He could do whatever he wants. He's got the charisma. He can, he's
Agreed.
gonna be all right. Ransom, who do you got?
I agree with everything that all of you guys are saying. So The Miz is probably going to end up winning because of all of that. But I'm still going to pick Priest as well.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say I agree with everything you're saying, so I'm gonna pick the Miz. I'm like, wait a second.
I mean, if we all pick the same,
doodle.
this would be the one where we lose because, again, why would Miz win? He can eat all the pins. We should be pushing Damian Priest. So at the end of the day, I'm sure the Miz is going to wind up winning this somehow.
Right. All right. The next match I have is for the Smackdown Tag Team Championships. No crazy stipulations. Everything else is going to be regular or triple threat matches from here on out. There's no other crazy gimmicks or anything like that. So Smackdown Tag Team Championship match, the Dirty Dogs, which is Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, the incumbent champions.
Name.
Yes, I still am campaigning for Too Damn Rude. That should have been their tag team name. Way better than Dirty Dogs, but whatever. Dirty Dogs, the incumbent champions, versus Rey and Dominic Mysterio. Poot, you are up.
I think they're going to put it on Rey and Dominic, honestly. I don't know why. I'm just going to go with Rey and Dominic. I think Dirty Dogs. Maybe it's just because I hate it. I hate the name. And to be perfectly honest with you, SmackDown of all the products that we cover is the one that I'm least caught up on, or least kind of in the loop with. So
Right.
I might just be throwing out an insane pick, but I'm going with it. I'm rolling with it. That's what I'd do. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with old team mystery Magoos.
Got it. Ransom, who do you got?
I'm going to say Dirty Dogs.
Ooh. Interesting.
I don't know why.
All right.
Stupid
This is
fucking
one
name.
that I'm struggling on because I like Poot. I fast forward through a lot of SmackDown, and I don't want to sound like a mark, but really the only thing I watch SmackDown for is to see like what's going on with Roman Reigns, just because that's the only like really viable, interesting storyline right now to me. So I really don't know. I don't know. I feel like the Mysterios have been kind of like, if I remember correctly, I feel like they've been kind of like close but no cigaring, or they've been getting beat in like singles matches and stuff like that. So I kind of feel like they're due. So I'm gonna go with the Mysterios on this one. God help me. But we'll see what happens. All right, next match, the Raw Women's Championship. We got a triple threat match. Rhea Ripley, your incumbent champion, versus Asuka, aka Mrs. Future Poot, the Bard, versus 135 pounds of plastic. Charlotte, whatever. I don't.
Damn it.
You really don't know how much the women weigh, because that's one thing in wrestling, they never announce the women's weights.
But they
You ever
also
noticed?
BS the men's weights, by the way, and their heights.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're not enormous human beings.
Right. But Raw Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley versus Asuka versus Charlotte. Ransom, you are up.
I am deathly afraid because Charlotte's back. And anytime Charlotte comes back, you know what that means. Give her the belt. So the smart pick would be Charlotte, because I don't know why. She's got everybody at the top of WWE so far up her ass, they can see her tongue. But I don't want it to come off of Rhea Ripley. I don't think that's a smart decision to take it off of Rhea Ripley. So Charlotte's probably going to win, but against my better judgment, I'm going to say Rhea Ripley.
Okay. I agree with everything you say, and that's why I'm picking Asuka. No, I'm just kidding. I'm also picking Rhea Ripley to retain. I think it's way too soon to take that off of her. I don't see her dropping that at the earliest would be SummerSlam.
When did
that
go on? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
When did Rhea win that belt? Refresh me.
WrestleMania.
Oh, it was. Yeah, that's right. It was WrestleMania. I don't know, man. We're in the middle of May. Okay? So you've chosen. You have chosen.
Yeah. I have chosen.
Man,
I have spoken.
I here's how I think it's gonna pan out. It's gonna be Rhea pinning Asuka to keep Charlotte looking strong going into SummerSlam, so then Charlotte takes the belt.
You're probably not wrong.
I really think that's the thing. And I really don't want this to be all of us picking samey, but I'm also going to go with Rhea Ripley, because really, if they take it off her now, WWE, like that for me, that might be the nail in the coffin of really caring. Because I at least, just because I'm adjusting to a new schedule, I haven't had time to sit down and watch everything. However, I still try and stay on top of what's going on. This might be my last bastion of being like, all right, I'm done. Because you have to build new stars. And Rhea Ripley is literally the literal definition of sideways 8 money. Like, she's just likable. She's a likable badass. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'm also going to go Rhea.
Okay.
Keep in mind,
the
though, WWE, whenever they think of a women's division and sideways ain't money, all they see is flair, flair, flair.
Yep. This is
And
true.
then that's when I will stop caring.
Yep.
She can go do Car Shield commercials with her dad for all I care.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. All right. So the next match is the SmackDown Women's Championship. We have Bianca Belair, who also won her title at WrestleMania, versus Bayley. Ding dong, irrelevant as of late. My pick. I'm picking Bianca Belair. Again, way too soon. Monster face win for night one of WrestleMania to close out the show. You'd be pissing all over the fans to take the title off of her. It makes no sense at all to take it off of Belair. So I'm picking Belair to retain. Poot, who do you got?
I'm also gonna go with Bianca to retain because again, this pay-per-view is already, I can tell, suffering from
in-betweenitis?
Yeah, in-betweenitis. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. There you go.
So I'm going to go with Bianca as well.
Yeah, and don't forget, I mean, even if the three of us are picking all the same, who knows what the fuck Beef's going to pick. So,
True.
You know what I mean? So there is that. Ransom, who do you got?
I'm also going to pick Bianca Belair. My personal thought is this pay-per-view, and this is probably a stupid thought, but it's my thought. This pay-per-view here, Wrestlemania Backlash. I hate that.
Yeah,
Should just be Backlash. How
should be.
dumb.
I know.
But in any case, I don't think anybody who won the title at WrestleMania should be losing said title at the very next pay-per-view. I don't have a problem with titles bouncing back and forth between pay-per-views. That's not a problem for me. My issue is when you have somebody winning the title at the biggest show, they should have at least 2 pay-per-views to hold that title. There's no reason a win at WrestleMania, not a retention, but winning a new title at WrestleMania, you should not be immediately flip-flopping hot potato in that belt at the pay-per-view after that event, not after Mania.
Right.
No, I agree. That's a very good point too. And I mean, hell, look at how many times we had viable contenders. This to kind of go back off an AEW tangent. Hikaru Shida has held her title for like a year now. There's been a number of viable contenders, and there's been times where I really thought that she was going to drop it, like whenever she faced off against Nyla Rose the last time and stuff like that. Nope. They still kept it on her.
Yeah, and again, I think that's just kind of Kenny Omega's. This is going to sound terrible, but it's Kenny Omega's pet project. Like, it's trying to bring the Joshi thing over, and
I get it, and you're not wrong.
Yeah, you got to open that up, man. Like, you have people like Chris Statlander, for God's sake. Like, goofy gimmick aside, you have people like that are kind of just languishing. Come on.
Yeah, well, and by the way, the last thing before we get back to the picks for the last two matches here, that was actually, I think that was one of the last, not the most current, but I think the next to last episode of AEW Unrestricted is they had Chris Statlander on, which it was a good listen. They all have been pretty much. I think as of late, and I'm not like all caught up on them because I only started listening to it recently.
Right.
I think the only one I didn't listen to was Chaos Project because I don't really care about them. But everybody else has been somebody that I've been. Yeah, everybody else has been somebody I've been interested in hearing about. And Chris Statlander was definitely one of them.
Yeah, after we're done with picks.
I would. Anyways.
After we're done with picks, remind me I have something to talk about as well. So let's move forward on them picks.
All right. Well, Poot, you're going to be up next, so get ready. Strap in. It's coming at you. The Universal Championship match. We got the Tribal Chief. Yeah, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, versus Cesaro.
Man, I would love for Cesaro to take this. I would pop. I wouldn't care about picks or wins anymore. It would just I would just be thrilled. But it's gonna be Reigns. Like lol, Roman wins, but in a good way now, because like what's happening with Roman, he's really I'm enjoying it. What I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, and everything. And I think the earliest again that Reigns is going to lose that belt. He's not going to lose it at Backlash. He'll lose it at a SummerSlam. He'll lose it at a Survivor Series. He'll lose it at a WrestleMania or something like that. So Reigns.
Ransom.
I want Cesaro to win so bad, but I'm on the same line of thought that Poot is. If Roman's going to lose this title, I feel like the money in that would be at one of the big four. Right. Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Rumble. So I don't think he's going to lose it at WrestleMania Backlash. Hopefully Cesaro stays in the title picture in the title hunt. But I don't know. I don't think he's going to lose it here. So I'm going to say Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on that. I think the very earliest that you would see Reigns lose it would be at Money in the Bank. If somebody, whoever wins Money in the Bank, cashes in on him, or just in general, if he loses it, outright, and then somebody else comes in, cashes in, and then somebody else wins it or whatever. I don't know. But in any case, I don't see him dropping it here at this pay-per-view. It is interesting to see what they might do moving forward with the whole, fucking Jimmy Uso's back now. So there's a little bit of contention there. So it's interesting. We'll see what happens. All right. And then rounding it out, last match pick is for the WWE Championship. It's a triple threat match. Lashley, who's the incumbent champion, versus Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman. This is a big, beefy boy battle. And Ransom, you're up.
I don't see, again, any reason for Bobby Lashley to lose to either of these two guys. I think Bobby Lashley's doing good things with the title. I think it's interesting. I think it's new. You put it back on Drew McIntyre. Personally, I fall back into the category of, oh, great, Drew won. Who cares? Nothing against him or nothing against Braun Strowman, but I think at this point you put it back on Braun Strowman, and it's again one of those, okay, it's back on Braun Strowman, and who cares? Excuse me. I see the smart play with Bobby Lashley to hold that belt until you can get a Brock Lesnar to come back and do a match with Bobby Lashley. Like that's the money. That's where the big draw is going to be. That's where the big pop's going to be. That's where the crowd in attendance is going to hit the roof. Taking it off of him sooner is short-sighted, I feel. So Bobby Lashley.
Okay. For all those reasons that you just mentioned, I'm also picking Bobby Lashley. And honestly, I think Raw is kind of light on baby faces in the main title hunt. If you really think about it, like Drew's the only big time main event baby facer there. So
is Braun Strowman a heel?
Oh yeah.
Well, Braun,
he's kind of a tweener.
Yeah, he's kind of a it really, honestly, no pun against, going off of his gimmick, the monster among men, but he's kind of just a rogue monster right now. Like,
okay.
He's just like, dude, I deserve this. Burr, burr, burr. Okay, so yeah,
I got a face that looks like a baby, and when I scream, I'm sucking a dick.
Oh man,
you're the one. Hey, you're the one who initially called him Cock Suckman. I don't want to hear it.
You got the Braun Express straight into my mouth with your dick. On that note, Poot, round us out.
Ho-ho.
All right. Part of me, every time that I see a high-profile triple threat match, I go, someone's there to eat the pin. Someone's just there to eat the pin.
Yep.
And I think in this case, the person that's there to eat the pin is Drew McIntyre. I do.
Really?
Yes. And I know that seems weird because you would think, oh, Braun Strowman's there to eat the pin. But the thing is with Braun Strowman, I think he doesn't have the shine that someone like Finn Balor or The Miz does, where they can eat all the pins and still be a viable contender. You know what I mean? Like Braun Strowman has been through. This is a gassy episode. You can't keep having Braun Strowman eat pins and still be a monster. You can't.
No. No.
And I like Braun Strowman. Joking aside, I like him. And I think his attitude has gotten better. He's keeping himself in peak physical shape for a big man. And if we recall, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the match that him and Bobby Lashley had at what was it? What event was it? Was it a Survivor Series or a Money in the Bank, where, remember, they were in the arena and they fought all over the arena?
Was that
It was the no holds barred match. Yeah, it was Braun and Bobby.
I thought that was Bobby and Drew.
No, there was Braun and Bobby who did that, because remember, I think Braun speared Bobby through the screen or something like that.
I thought he did that on a Monday Night Raw.
Was that on a Monday Night Raw? Well, but still, there's history there. I think what's going to happen is Drew McIntyre is there to eat the pin to Bobby Lashley, and is there to eat the pin for Bobby Lashley, setting up Lashley Strowman going forward. I really do, because there's history there, and those two, I remember that match. I'm like, oh God, it actually might have been on a Monday Night Raw now that you mention it. But like seeing the two of them battle it out and have it actually be entertaining, because you're like, oh my God, it's going to be two big beefy boys in a no holds barred match. Great. This is just going to be a slugfest. It's going to be boring. And they made it really entertaining. So like, I think Drew's there to eat the pin. And I'm half tempted to just say Braun Strowman, because so that picks aren't boring.
I mean, not that I want to sway you one way or the other, but don't forget we do have AEW coming up at the end of the month.
Well, no, and I'm just saying for this one, because then it's just like, oh, okay, like, we also have the wild card of beef and the chaos jester. Which rolls off the tongue just as well as, whatever.
Burger.
Yeah, Turpurger. You know what? I'm gonna go with my initial gut. I'm gonna say Bobby Lashley, because Bobby's doing great stuff. Great stuff, and I'm glad to see it. And I would love to see him and Brock Lesnar. Regardless, I'm gonna go with Bobby Lashley here, just because I think he should hang on to that belt.
Yeah. All right. So running down the picks again real quick. So we have our last calls. First match, Damian Priest versus The Miz. We're Priest across the board. Any changes?
No.
Okay. Smackdown Tag Team Championship. Dirty Dogs versus the Mysterios. Poot and I are on the Mysterios. Ransom is on Dirty Dogs. Any changes?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Raw Women's Championship. Triple threat. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka versus Charlotte. We're Ripley across the board. Good?
Yep.
Good.
All right. SmackDown Women's Championship. Bianca Belair versus Bayley. We're Belair across the board.
This is the one where I say Charlotte's going to win. Anyway, go on. Yes, we're good.
All right. Universal Championship. Roman Reigns versus Cesaro. Reigns across the board.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And WWE Championship. Lashley versus McIntyre versus Strowman. We are Lashley across the board.
Yep.
All right. Picks are locked in.
Let me say this. I will shit a brick, stick a knife in it, and patent it as the brick knife. If Charlotte loses, that match with Rhea Ripley and Asuka and somehow weasels her way into a triple threat match with Bayley and Bianca Belair and wins that title after Pooch just said that I will shit that brick, stick a knife in it, and patent that brick knife. Son of a bitch. I would not put it past them to do that.
Yeah,
I would.
That's too far fetched. That's too much.
You don't know. Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, something.
Is it more far-fetched than giving birth to a hand, or not quite?
Oh, man.
All right. I forgot. I forgot.
Do you remember what you wanted to talk about after picks, Poot?
I do. Number one, I am having I am now currently beving on the Steve Austin IPA, the El Segundo, the Broken Skull IPA, and it's mighty tasty. It's very good. It's very good IPA. I bought it while I was down in Georgia. And I hope you guys enjoyed my messages when I was going through North Carolina.
Nice.
You mean when you were driving?
Did you like that?
I did very much.
Dude, I was so thrilled that I got a pop out of Ransom and Beef. And when you get Ransom to pop full on, that is the greatest feeling in the world.
It was very funny. It was very, very funny. The thing I want to talk about actually relates to that trip. Driving. When I was driving, I listened to one Bill Apter's book, Is Wrestling Fixed? I didn't know it was broken. And it came out on, in hard copy, obviously. But then Bill actually read the book. Like, he was the one who read it. Like, it wasn't like some ghost reader, you know what I mean, reading the book. It was Bill doing it. And he insisted on that. I talked to him while I was down in Georgia. And I'm not trying to, watch your feet. I might name drop a bit. But, like, but I was at the
bragging.
That is
sorry.
You son of a bitch. That was fantastic. No, I was at a wedding last week, which is why I wasn't on the podcast, for my friend Brandon Apter, who I went to college with, and that's Bill's son. And Brandon and I are really good buddies, and I was in the wedding. I was very grateful to be part of that. By the way, I was part of my first Jewish wedding. It was really cool.
Mazel tov.
Yeah, it was awesome, dude. I got to participate in the hora, where they hold up the bride and groom on chairs. Yeah. Like it was really cool. It was really interesting. But
it's like, well, I didn't get to the gym, but here's my workout. Big strong lift.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
The strong bird.
I didn't stay in the hotel that they had booked. It was a nice 5-star hotel, and I couldn't, really afford that. So I stayed in another hotel, and I'm like, oh, it'll be good. And it was a place to sleep. It was a place to rest my weary head. But anyway, my point was, I got to spend time with Bill, and I've known, I've known Bill for a while, and listening to his book, I'll tell you what, and this isn't me being biased. Do yourself a favor, and I understand reading is probably the better option, but when you're on a 12.5-hour road trip, you can't exactly dedicate your time to a book. So I listened to the audiobook. Man, it is awesome. That man has been part of so much wrestling history, and hearing from the perspective of a journalist and a photographer, for anyone out there, seriously do yourself a favor and go and either buy the book and read it, or get the audio book and listen to Bill talk about it, because it's fascinating. It's
I'm going to ask you a quick question,
yeah.
Because this will actually relate to how I'm going to be able to get this book, because I've been wanting to do this for a while. With your audiobooks, do you have a particular source you go through?
the way I do it is I don't subscribe, like I don't do a subscription to Audible, hashtag not sponsored, but maybe could be one day. I go through Audible, but I don't have an Audible subscription. I just buy the book. Like, because I tend to I've been listening to a lot more music lately. Yeah. So like audiobooks, and plus I don't really travel as much as I would like. So I don't see the point in having another subscription that draws monthly. So if I have a book I really want to enjoy in an audio format, I'll just buy it. I go on Amazon and buy it. And then it just goes through Audible. So you can listen to it whenever you want.
Got it. Okay, reason I mention this is because this is what my girlfriend does, because she is a bookworm nerd. And she will read as many books as many games as I own or play in a year. Like she's ridiculous, and I love her for it. She uses the Overdrive app, and it's free, last that I've known of. But all it does is it goes through like your local, like it goes through your library or whatever library. It goes through the library system. So like sometimes there's a wait list if there's a popular book, but it's free. And for as many books as she goes through, like she listens to so many audiobooks, she listens to them like while she's working and stuff. So, she's boop, 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 and just listening and listening and listening. and it's great. And so I may try to finally get around to getting the Overdrive app and listening to that book, because I could listen to it while I'm driving all day long, delivering packages.
Yeah,
so.
like and that's the thing. Like I can't. Obviously at work I can't. Like my attention is very much taken up. At work now. But it really is, if you're a wrestling fan, the thing that you get to do is you get to experience a lot of keynote wrestling history through the eyes of not only a lifelong obsessive fan, but also someone who was part of that world. Like people like Bill is really well known. And if you don't know the name Bill Apter and you're a wrestling fan, you've probably either seen photos that he's taken or have read articles that he's written and not looked at the byline. Like Bill is a big deal. He's like, and I'm not sitting here trying to puff up Bill or be flattering, because I told him this when I was talking to him, but it really was cool. Like, for example, the infamous night at Madison Square Garden where Bruno Sammartino lost his title. You know what I mean? Like, he had held that belt for, I think, 10 years?
Oh, I can't.
He held the world title.
Amount.
Yeah, for like 4,000 odd days or whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
that's what I was gonna say. Whatever it was like 4,000 plus days. So whatever that equates to, it's a lot.
So it's like he held that belt forever, and when he lost it, it was huge. Bill was there and he photographed it. Like he was there. He experienced this stuff firsthand. Like, so it really is entertaining. And, you get to hear how, the relationships that he's built and what these guys are like, and some hilarious stories along the way. Like there's one in the book. I'm not going to spoil it for you because you really should go read or listen to it. That there's a story of him in Japan, and it involves him and Ted DiBiase, and I can't remember the other person involved, but it involves them, karaoke, and a geisha. Like, you need to read this book. If you're a wrestling fan, you will absolutely love it. And the reason that I talk so much about the audiobook is not just because that's how I experienced it, but it's also because you're hearing it from the man himself. So it adds another level of kind of genuine joy and enjoyment Like, so, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we get a chance, maybe if you have a link or something that you can throw in the video description or on the bylines of the audio stuff for Anchor and stuff, maybe do that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Throw a little bit of love to Mr. Apter there. This leads to a really good segue. Speaking of Ted DiBiase, how fucking entertaining is the stuff with Cameron Grimes on NXT? Damn you, Ted DiBiase!
Oh my god!
Oh my god! I fucking pop every time. You know it. Like, it's just the thing. You know it's coming. Like, so did you watch NXT
this
week, Ransom? Well, I figured you might have, but I was gonna ask Ransom first because I know if anybody isn't gonna watch anything, it might be him first, and I didn't want to spoil anything or not. But Ransom, did you watch NXT?
No.
Okay. So, who you did? Okay. So
yeah.
Ransom, I don't know if you've caught highlights, but like a whole lot of the stuff with everything going on with Cameron Grimes since he came back from injury and now he's got all this money. He just he's got so much money he doesn't know what to do with it. So there's been some he tried to recreate the whole thing with like back in the day, like Ted DiBiase apparently used to do a thing like where he would have like random people from the crowd. He's like, all right, I'll give you $1,000 if you can dribble this basketball 5 times, and they'd get to like 3 or 4, and then you like kick it out of the way, so he didn't have to pay them.
Yeah.
So Cameron Grimes was trying to recreate that, and he failed miserably. And he still ended up paying out all this money. And so there's been other things. I can't remember what it was. He went to go to a club recently, like last week. He went to go to a club after he won whatever match he had, and he goes to get into the club, and the bouncer's like, well, you're not on the list, sir. And he's like, what are you talking about? Do you know who I am? And then like Ted DiBiase rolls up, and he's like, why get VIP when you could just buy out the whole club? And he's like, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man. He does his infamous laugh.
Oh, the laugh, man. Oh.
Yeah. and the whole thing, Cameron Grimes, there's been a number of times he's like, damn you, Ted DiBiase! And fucking
damn
this
you!
week.
Yeah.
This week was no exception. Cameron Grimes was he went to go to some auction. They're auctioning a house.
Yeah.
Like, we'll start the bidding at $20 million, and he's like, he's like, no need, put me down for $20 million. And they start
$2
bidding.
million. It's $2 million in it.
Oh, okay. It goes up to like, I forget what. It ended up at like 200 or something.
No, it started to, and it kept going up. And my favorite part was Cameron Grimes gets out of his car and he looks and he goes, can't have an auction without Cameron Grimes. And then he sits down and he goes, we're going to start the bidding at $2 million. And Cameron Grimes goes, $2 million. And then he goes, all right, 2.5, 2.5, 3, 30. And he's going and going. And Cameron's like, well, you got to slow down. Why is he talking so fast? Like, it's just like he doesn't have any idea what the hell's going on. And he builds it up to $8 million, I think it was. And then Ted DiBiase goes, $20 million. And Ted DiBiase gets the house.
Yep.
Oh, it's so funny.
And again, it's the whole Ted DiBiase's the foil to Cameron Grimes. I love it. Like, I don't know what the end game is going to be with that. Like, because obviously, like, they're not going to, like, Ted DiBiase's not going to get in the ring, but it's funny as hell. Like, it's coming. You know it's coming with the whole, him getting outbid, and you're like, fucking Ted DiBiase, here we go. And it's just great. I love it. It's so good. I really hope at some point that, like, by the end of this year, I hope to see Cameron Grimes get that North American title, or even better, if he gets a to the moon, gets the fucking NXT championship, that'd be great. But I think at the very least that man needs to get a mid-card title.
Oh my God. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they wind up incorporating somehow the $1 Million belt into all this.
Oh.
To where Cameron Grimes, when he finally gets one up on Ted DiBiase, it's for that $1 Million belt. And then at that point, Cameron Grimes doesn't give a crap about any other belts, and he can just go around and interrupt the North American champion and the NXT champion and say, I don't need your belt. I got the $1 Million.
That could be it. You never know.
If anyone could make that work, it would be Cameron Grimes.
Yep.
Like, absolutely. Like, that is incredible. And I would love that. Like,
I always popped for the $1 million belt. I don't know why, but I always did. I always thought it was one of the neater championships.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd be completely happy if they brought that back and incorporated it with Cameron Grimes.
apparently the original one actually was diamonds.
I don't doubt it that there is a real one out.
And I love
I can't even imagine.
I love even in interviews like Ted DiBiase when he got that gimmick as the $1 Million Man, like he went from like road dogging it, you know what I mean? And they went, listen, you have to live the gimmick, so we're going to put you up in the best hotels. We're going to have a limo take you everywhere. We're going to put you on private jets. We're going to this, we're going to that. And, you know, Ted DiBiase being a wrestler back then, just a wrestler, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're going to give you literally the same treatment as Vince McMahon gets because to keep kayfabe. And he was like, well, I garnered a lot of heat with the boys, but what was I going to say? No. Like, you know?
Yeah.
That gimmick was paying off in more than one way.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Speaking of the North American Championship, since I mentioned it, what do you think we're looking at next week? We got Johnny Gargano and Bronson Reed. How do you think that's going to play out? Like, this isn't anything to do with picks, but
they're building a lot of hype behind Bronson Reed, and I like that because Bronson Reed is, for the first time in a long time, that we've had that archetypical big man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it at least, even if you want to just contain it to NXT or WWE, like, there have been big men, but none that are that build, that have that athleticism, that have that look and that feel. It really is.
Not since Keith Lee.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing, is that Keith Lee, like, again, Keith Lee is a big guy, but he's a big man. He's like football player big. You know what I mean? Like, Bronson Reed is Bam Bam Bigelow Vader big. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of big man feel. And I understand that's, you know, splitting hairs. But, you know, like Bronson Reed, if he can be smart enough to contain himself to NXT, he could have a hell of a run. Like, I mean, you know, I feel so bad for Keith Lee. I do. Like, I feel bad for Keith Lee. But, like, if Bronson Reed can be kind of contained and kept and nurtured, I think he could have a really good run because he has a much more aggressive vibe than Keith Lee. Like, he has he has that, you know, I don't know. It really is. It is.
Like, I had heard one of the things that I think that Vince wasn't very big on with Keith Lee is the fact of how soft-spoken and how articulately spoken Keith Lee was.
But that's part of his charm. We know that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Vince
yeah, I know.
McMahon wants him to sound like a big dumb dummy.
Probably.
Don't speak softly and speak eloquently. Speak loud and like a Neanderthal, and pow to the moon.
But
and don't forget to put some gravel in your voice, just like Braun Strowman does. Yeah.
Choo choo. Did you just say choo choo?
I think he did.
Yep.
But honestly, you know what? I know last time it benefited me picking Gargano against Bronson Reed in the NXT takeover match that they had. I don't think Gargano is going to be so lucky this time. I mean, I know that Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell just won those NXT women's tag team championships. But unless they were going to be dedicated to putting all the belts on all four of them at once, I don't think so. I think Johnny's losing that title, and I think they are gonna go forward with pushing Bronson Reed. So
well, and I think that would make sense, because I think if Johnny loses that belt, first of all, you would have to put the NXT belt on what's his name? I'm terrible.
Austin Theory?
Yeah, Austin Theory. Thank you.
that's not happening.
No, and that's the thing, is that no offense to Austin Theory, he's got a long career ahead of him, and I think he's got a really good career ahead of him, especially if they take him away from that bro dumb guy thing. But like Austin Theory, I don't. That's not even right now in the realm of possibility to put the big belt on him. So having Johnny lose that and have him and Austin Theory kind of like, back off a little bit, lick their wounds, and come back swinging. I could see both of them. You know what I could see them doing is taking the men's NXT tag belts and then having all four of them hold tag belts together.
That could be a possibility.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. I would kind of dig that. But my point is how funny is Austin Theory, that what I just said being said, but how funny is Austin Theory? Because when he had his match with Karrion Kross, when Kross came out and did his whole intro and he's standing there, he's screaming and Scarlett looking like an absolute sawed off snack. Like they cut over to Johnny and Austin Theory, and Johnny is looking like, whoa. Like he's like, okay, you got this, Austin. But you look at Austin Theory and he's just like, oh damn. Like it was just really funny. Like the look on his face was hilarious.
And Johnny had to literally
hype
push him in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He literally had to he was standing behind him and he's just like pushing dead weight. He's like, go.
Yeah,
you got this, go.
You got this. You got it. Like, and he's patting him on the ass, like pushing him into the ring. Like,
yeah. The best thing with that whole thing was the week before, whenever they interrupted, Regal and Scarlett talking in the office, and then Austin's like, they're so big. Are they real? And he's talking about her nails and not her tits. Like, oh my God, that was the best.
Oh my God.
That was so good. That was so good.
So what's since you're a little more ingrained than I've been the past couple weeks, what's going on with Indy Hartwell and Ransom's NXT analog?
Oh.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we said Cameron Grimes is my NXT analog, and
acknowledge him.
I'm terrible with names.
Dexter
tonight.
Loomis.
Dexter Loomis. Yeah. Yeah. What's going on with Indy Hartwell and Dexter Loomis? Acknowledge him.
I don't know. The last I saw was, I think was it last week that they won the women's tag titles, or the week before?
It was last week, I think.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. My weeks have been running together. It's been kind of crazy. So last week, whenever they were like in the locker room talking about like before they had their match and stuff, Loomis was like behind a door. That was whenever like Candace was like, she like kind of like hid something in the locker that was from Loomis to Indy or whatever, because she was trying to keep her focused and everything. And then like he was like behind the door going to the locker room, and you saw him like lit there behind the window, and like Candace hurry up and like close the blinds. Again, she's just like trying to keep Indy focused and not distracted by her man crush there,
her thick mustached boy.
Yeah, and he wasn't.
So jealous.
He wasn't on this week at all. Yeah, he was. We were sans Loomis, so yeah. I don't know.
Bullshit.
We'll see.
Stupid.
I mean, he's far from gone.
I want to have another go round of Cameron Grimes and Dexter Loomis. I love that.
Oh God, that'd be so great.
That was one of the most entertaining feuds I've seen in a very long time.
And
yeah,
and that
it was so entertaining.
It's the classic foil thing, man. Like Cameron Grimes was the perfect foil for someone like Dexter Loomis. Like,
since you'd actually mentioned his name, I was just thinking about this. I don't know why. It's just like some of the other rosters started going through my head, and thinking back to then, and then thinking back like who was there and everything like that. I know I know not long ago we had who was it, Danny Burch, that got injured, and that, you know, we have the whole tag team title situation to where it is now. You mentioned his name earlier, Rich Holland. I don't know when he's supposed to come back, but I'm kind of curious to see what they do with him going forward, because he was going to be part of that whole the brand stable and everything like that. You know, he was going to be the one that took out the guys from Undisputed Era because Pat McAfee paid him off or whatever. And then he obviously legitimately got his legs just fucked and all sorts of injured, and, you know, he was gone. But I mean, we haven't seen McAfee sniffing around at all for a while. And obviously, you know, Undisputed Era is gone. I wonder if they're still going to bring Ridge Holland back and try to insert him into some sort of program with somebody or not. I'm really curious.
I would hope that they would, because Ridge Holland didn't even have a chance to get wheels up. You know what I mean? Like, he just, and it's a shame too. He had a good look. He had a good vibe. And, you know, the little bit that we saw of his work seemed pretty solid. It's just, those are the kind of things that just happen. You know what I mean? They just, you can't account for it. It's just, you know, you ask anyone in any athletic competition or any kind of competitive or performance aspect, sometimes shit just goes wrong. Like, and I really hope that he doesn't get written off or released. I don't think he will. You know what I wouldn't mind seeing, and I think might make sense, unless they want to have him completely stand on his own 2 feet, which I think would be the smart move. But then again, is put him with Adam Cole. Have him be Adam Cole's heater. Like, not that Adam Cole would need one, but by the time that Ridge Holland comes back, because if I recall from the severity of his injuries, they said it was going to be like 8 to 10 months. Because it was like, I think he had a fracture, but it was like a small fracture. But what's worse was it basically ripped his tendons to shreds. Like, you know, yeah. So like, that's the shit that really puts you on. And, you know, who knows? Maybe Ridge Holland just goes, you know what? This isn't for me, and I need to go and figure something else out. Who knows? It's neither here nor there. But I think it would be kind of cool to see him be someone's heater, like he was going to be for Pat McAfee.
Do you think, since you brought up Adam Cole, do you think that Adam Cole is still going to come back into NXT for some sort of bit of time, or do you think that we see him come on to Raw or SmackDown in the near future?
Well, you did mention that there's a lack of baby faces on Raw, and you can't hate Adam Cole. You just can't. Like, it's impossible. You can't. Even when he's playing heel, you love him. Like, so yeah. I think if he did go to Raw, it would be good. It's just the problem is his handling. They gotta handle him right. And WWE, I know they have a stellar track record of handling all proper talent correctly, but right, I think it would be cool. I said it'd be cool if they
That's
just
how
brought
Drew
him.
McIntyre gets beat in that triple threat match. Adam Cole shows up, super kicks Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley uses a pin. Ta-da! There you go. There's a new feud with Drew McIntyre and Adam Cole.
Oh, that would be great.
I can hear beef the whole way in Florida right now. Never going to happen, not going to happen, it's not going to happen. And I agree. I don't think I'm correct.
But it would be entertaining as hell.
It would. I would be entertained by it. But again, and I think Beef has made this point many, many times, and I agree with him every single time he makes this point, Vince doesn't care what happens in NXT.
No.
So because Adam Cole came into NXT super kicking Drew McIntyre, they're not going to play that angle where he shows up on Raw and super kicks Drew McIntyre, because Vince McMahon doesn't care what happens on NXT. So while that would be a neat little callback, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, just correct me if I'm wrong, but they kind of already shortened down Rhea Ripley's music a little bit, haven't they? Like, from what it. Go ahead.
Oh no, I don't mean to interrupt you, but like that's
No.
That's the problem. Is that like Rhea still is using her music that was written in part by CFO. So like they kind of have to, because like anyone who still uses music written by CFO, which is stuff like Finn Balor's music, Rhea Ripley's music, who else? Kevin Owens. Like they have to pay the royalties to that. Yeah. Like they
I mean, the song's not different. Actually, well, no. If I'm not, I don't think CFO wrote hers. Because whoever the band was performed her song at WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, but Code Orange also performed Aleister Black's, and they didn't write it.
Okay. Well, okay. Good point. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense, I guess. I was looking for a way to segue into something that we mentioned earlier, jumping back to AEW here.
All right.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that said it felt weird to hear Wild Thing for Jon Moxley's music.
Yeah.
I think that was the first week that I've heard that.
It was the first week that they did it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was the case or not, but it felt weird. And I know Beef said it could be some sort of tie-in to whatever.
To Major League.
Yeah,
because it's the Cleveland Indians.
And I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, that's fine. I mean, if that's what Moxley wants for his music, cool. I just don't see how it necessarily fits his character. But
the thing that's weird is the whistle solo.
That's
the weird part.
I'm glad that Tony Khan has gone out and bought the rights for some of the for these songs, like for Orange Cassidy, the Pixie song "Where's My Mind."
Yeah,
fantastic. That fucking fits him to a T. Like that is so good. The Tarzan Boy for Jungle Boy and that's good.
Jurassic Express.
That fits perfectly. That's perfect. This, I don't know. It just feels weird.
I think if they had a band cover it, and play it heavier.
Yeah, which I'm sure there has to be somebody out there that has.
Yeah, and because the thing I was like at first I was like, all right, okay, it's kind of weird, but all right, yeah, Wild Thing, all right, but then that little I'm just like, it's stupid. Yeah. It makes me just not. I go. It just takes it takes the edge off of Moxley.
Yeah. Yeah. To me.
Wow. I love how whenever any one of us is gone from the podcast, the wheels fall off. Not like in a bad way. I think the episode's still good. But we just tend it just there's just a slightly different dynamic every single time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except when Tom's gone. Fuck that guy. Oh, hi, Tom.
No, by the way, acknowledge me as your Yinzer chief. I don't fucking
Yinzer,
know.
what the fuck? Anyway, the Yinzer chief.
I acknowledge you in that downtown.
In that downtown. Now go red up your attitude.
Damn it.
I'm bringing a buggy to this match against Bob Gray and company, and I'm gonna hit him with it.
Oh my god! Then afterwards you'll get some
buggy.
That's my foreign object of choice. Is a buggy from Giant Eagle.
And then
Giant Eagle.
Then afterwards you'll go get Afterwards you'll go get some eggs in that.
All right, I'm out.
I'm gonna celebrate my post victory celebration. I'll be pounding some Iron Cities.
Oh, Iron City.
Oh,
Lord.
I gotta go.
We're getting super Pittsburgh. We're getting super Pittsburghy up in here. Put some fries on that sandwich, bitches.
And make sure you got some hoagies and catering for me.
Oh Lord.
Damn it. That's it.
All right, we're done. Done.
No, and that's the thing is like I'm glad that. All right.
Oh, he
there he went.
left. He'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back. It's fine. The
Wait. When he comes back, just go dead silent. I'm gonna go. You bitch. You bitch. I knew you'd be I literally just said right before you left. I was like, he'll be back.
He's back.
I'm back.
Oh, thank God we were on this.
Ever. The
Got a neck for making pigs better.
Oh Lord.
No.
All right, he's gonna leave again. Don't do it. The no, and that's the thing is that I think this is that we've been saying it, and anyone who's watched wrestling for more than a cup of coffee knows, music really can make or break a wrestler. Yep. And like,
Absolutely.
and that's the other thing is Chris Van Vliet did an interview with Jim Johnston, Johnston, the guy who wrote some of the wrestling, if not all of, like pretty much all of the wrestling themes that you know, if you're roughly our age, you know, that you grew up with, like, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin,
80s and early 90s.
Vader. Yeah. He wrote the first WrestleMania theme. Like he was the sound purveyor of WWE. Like, I mean, he created that, you know, Shawn Michaels theme, Bret Hart's theme, like all the, you know, and hearing that interview, like that's another one you should go listen to. It's very interesting to hear Jim Johnson's like, you know, the way he thought about this stuff. Like it's very interesting.
Yeah.
But you know, but that it's proof positive that like music really truly makes the wrestler, and that's why. And I remember on WrestleMania weekend, it irked the shit out of me. The second I heard Kyle O'Reilly's music, it made me angry. Like, I was like, man, I hate his theme. And you can go on YouTube and like when I got to listen to it like isolated and like actually sat like so you could get a good like hearing of it, a good listen to it. At first I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm this. But there's like a middle part where like the riff and the drums are completely off and they're just like out of sync with each other and it sounds half-assed and shitty. And then
I'm going to have to go listen to it isolated as well, but
so
like
bad.
But see, now that would bother the shit out of me, but I guess whenever it's on TV, you never get that long, like that far deep into it. I honestly like I'm going to be the contrarian. Like I personally didn't have a problem with it. Because I don't know, it like the guitar riff in the beginning and stuff like that, like when he came out and he's doing his air guitar and stuff as he has done, you know, for forever. Like I don't know, I thought it just kind of fit him, but it would bother the shit out of me if I heard like some unsynced parts in the middle and stuff like that. Like I still hate the fucking Cody Rhodes Snoop Dogg mashup. They need to fucking get rid of that for the love of God and all that is holy. Stop it. Now, stop unnecessary mashups.
Now, like MJF and Judas was really good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. You know,
they did good with that.
But okay, well then, and I know we've talked about this before, but like really quick. I want to have a little thought experiment with you guys before we burrito it up here. Unless we have a question, are we doing a question this week?
I was not prepared for. I was taking back over the scribe job, not the. I didn't kick that around. I'm sorry, guys. That's all right. We'll have a stump the chumps next week. But
we gotta wait for that.
Let me ask you this question then. So, what is of all time your favorite wrestling entrance theme? Go, Tom.
Oh fuck! I need
all
a minute.
Go,
to think
Ransom.
about this.
I know your answer.
No.
Okay, so you're saying right to censor's theme then. Okay, good.
So listen here.
Oh no.
Up. And yes, that is my pick. No. I don't know. I need a hot minute to think about this. This is your question, so you lead off with this, Poop. But I'll tell you this. The theme that I hated the most, I'll tell you the theme I hated the most was Dean Ambrose's theme after he left the Shield.
Oh,
I thought
Okay.
that was the most generic bullshit music that I've ever heard in my life. I didn't like Seth Rollins' theme. When they broke up the Shield, it was like, okay, Roman Reigns gets the Shield music, only a smidge different. But Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose get generic, who cares, rock out an electric guitar music theme. That's what it seemed to me. Now, when they added the Burn It Down, it got a little bit better for Seth Rollins. His theme grew on me a little bit. I still was never super over the moon with it. But Dean Ambrose, that beginning guitar, it was like, okay, we're going to break up the Shield. We don't have any music for these guys. Somebody get on a guitar and just start strumming. It did nothing for me.
wow. See, I actually liked it. I thought it fit pretty well, but I can absolutely understand why you say it's generic, like just guitar riffy thing. I get it. I absolutely do. Tom, have you come up with one? Okay, well, let's go with one that you absolutely hated.
Man, I don't know. I still need a minute because now I'm trying to rack through the 90s and then like into current, and I'm trying. Yeah, like I don't know.
I've got one for you, Poot.
All right.
And this probably isn't one that you would think that I would pick. Hang on, I gotta hydrate. Ready? Hold on.
All right.
Okay, so the reason I picked this theme is because through all of its incarnations, it stood the test of time. And I feel like this theme completely and utterly encapsulated the character. When you heard this theme, you knew exactly what was coming to the ring each and every time. Now, everybody knows if you smell, you know that one. You know the glass shattering. You know the drums and the shit. Like, yes, those are all amazing, great themes that fit the character. But I'll say this. One theme that always seemed to do no wrong for me, I don't know. I think the wrestler and I think the theme stood the test of time through its very beginnings up until the very end of this character. Anybody have a guess?
No Chance in Hell.
No.
Okay.
What's that?
Gold Dust.
Nice. Yes.
Very good.
I loved the Gold Dust theme. Because when that music started to, through all of his words, through all of his variations. Yeah, all the incarnations you had of Gold Dust. Now, they were roughly the same character, but they did change over time. And he had been around for such a long time as a character. And I feel like the Gold Dust theme is just one of those iconic themes that from his very beginning to right up until he was done in WWE is Gold Dust. That one right there always did it for me because I always got excited. He did unique things in the ring. He was a unique looking character. He had unique promos.
Yep.
Everything about the character,
Sold it.
right down to the music, was very unique.
Sold it so well. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'll give you one that I never liked, and it was and this one might be kind of a softball hate, was Test's music.
Yeah.
That was another one that seemed very generic.
Very generic, except for the test. This is a test. Test. That one. And the thing is, for me, and again, I've mentioned a lot on here. There's a reason I'm Poot the Bard for a reason. Music and wrestling is one of the things that first grabbed me when I was, a kid. Yeah, I loved watching wrestling and everything, and seeing these larger than life characters, but the music is the thing that really grabbed me. So like the ones that I remember that really like tripped my trigger were and a couple of them are kind of clicky. Razor Ramon's theme. Razor, right. I don't know why I love it so much, but to me, yeah, and it's that car, screech, tire screech thing that, when you think about it, is very evocative of Mick Foley now. But like, when I hear it, I immediately go, that's Razor Ramon's music. And then you hear that boom, 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 God, and it just fit the ooze machismo thing. And I just thought it was one of the coolest themes.
I gotta agree. I gotta agree with you on that one. I think that's also why I liked it, but now they changed it. Was Legado del Fantasma?
Yes,
I like their doom 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 doom.
Just that swagger.
Simple. Yeah, it was just simple and low key, but it was just had that presence.
Yep, it had that vibe. Like,
yeah.
But the other one that I love that's kind of a deep cut is whenever Sean Waltman was 1-2-3 Kid, his music was awesome. $1 Million Man, of course. I remember that was one of the first ones I remember is the laugh and then you money, 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 money. It's just cool. Yeah. I just think it's cool. But the one that really stands out for me that gets me still to this day when I hear it and it gets me like hyped and it takes me back to that time of being like, a teenager and like really getting into wrestling and like a simpler time is the Brood's music.
Oh man.
Right? Like, how cool is it? How cool is that music and that entrance? You want to talk about Ransom having a gimmick and like you immediately get the feeling of the character and everything they do. That's it, man.
I'll tell you what. I remember a time. Now this was before iPods, and I'm sure I actually still, I don't know, I may still have the CDs. But I definitely have them on my iPod now. The WWE Anthology, the 3-disc set. You had the Federation years, you had the Attitude Era, and then you had the Now, which was like the early 2000s or so, the Brock Lesnar-esque era. I remember putting on the Brood's entrance theme. Me and some friends were just sitting around listening to it, and I was like, no. Yeah, shut out the lights for this one. You got to get the feeling of it. So we're sitting in the dark listening to the Brood, and like it's just, I don't know, it's just something about that music is so good. One that I thought that you were gonna say, and that's a good one. I always love listening to the Brood. Still, I think I may or may not have that as a ringtone on my phone. I picked out a whole bunch of different wrestling theme songs for people at one point on my phone. And I think my sister had Edge's music or whatever, the newer Edge music, on this day, Metalingus, But I, one that definitely gets me, right in the feels and always gets me hyped up. And I don't care if it's a cliche one or not, is DX. Always.
Oh, yeah. Can't go wrong there.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that one. It's great. I'd like some of the variations of ones that they did. Like I remember, like whenever they did I don't remember if it was Forcible Entry or not, but when they had some of the different bands do some of the different wrestlers' themes, like I think they had like Drowning Pool do a song for Triple H or whatever. I really liked that one. I can't remember how it goes, but I know I liked it.
Oh, no, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I was going to go into one that I hated. I thought you were going to say something.
Well, I was going to say, really quick, I want to hear the one you hated. But let me ask you guys this question, because this is a hot topic between Beef and I. This is the debate. Christian, whenever he went to Close Your Eyes.
Yes.
Did you like the, what is it, Three Non-Blondes or the cover of it?
I like the Story of the Year version.
Story of the Year version is way better. right?
Way better. Way
Yeah.
better. Sounds way better. It doesn't sound, the voices don't sound as like
Washed out.
produced or generic. Yeah, washed out. Yeah. Is it 3 non-blondes or 4 non-blondes?
Is it it's 4 non-blondes. Yeah.
Okay. Was it really them that did that?
Yeah. The if you close your eyes, you're alive. Yeah, like that slow plodding Beef loves that version.
I hate
more.
that version. I hate that.
Let me
version
look up and
compared to the year.
see who it was 4 non-blondes.
Listen, while you're looking that up, I just need to say something real quick to something that Poot said about freaking Razor Ramon and Mick Foley.
All right.
I can't tell you how, and I understand. It was back in the day, so I was not as in the know as I am now.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you how unbelievable
Waterproof blondes. Waterproof blondes.
All right.
Okay, I was going to say.
How unbelievably
So
pissed. Yes.
I can't tell you how pissed I was when Mick Foley debuted with that music, because as soon as that car screech happened, my ass was up out of my seat, and I immediately went, "Sweet mother of God, Razor Ramon is back!" Crash. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, and out comes dumb dress shirt, untucked, sweatpants, wearing a tie, stupid leather mask, Mick Foley. And I went, "Motherfucker, you gotta be kidding me." I sat back down and changed the channel straight over to WCW. I was so pissed. I'm like, "You fucking guy, you bamboozled me to hell and back." I got so excited. I thought he was going to come strutting out, chains and all. "Hey, yo, the bad guy's back." Nope. Fucking Mick Foley. Suck a fart out of my ass. I was so disappointed.
Dude, no. And that's the thing is, do you know how, like, for a long time, it took me to do the same thing to where I heard that and I didn't expect Razor Ramon. Like,
So pissed.
Okay, I got the one that I hate.
Suck a fart out of my ass. Oh my God. All right, go on.
One that I hated and one that I loved. Okay, here we go. One that I hated, speaking of Christian, was the whole "Christian, your time has come." Then let's throw in some opera voices. Why? No, just stop. I hated that version of that. One that I absolutely loved, Psycho Sid's music.
Yeah.
Simple.
That was a good one.
But fucking, it had that under, like, a build, a crescendo, and then backs off, and then I love it.
That little water drop noise in there, like, yeah.
The simple little things. It's enough to get the hairs on your arms standing up, like, oh, something's coming. And
another good one was when you oh God, I just lost my train of thought. And I know this one's for Beef. This one's for you. If you listen to this episode, this one's for you. Vader.
Suck a fart out our asses.
Well, after saying Vader, now that feels weird. Vader. Like it's time immediately. Come on, you didn't just go, "Oh shit, here comes Vader." Like, you know, even though WWE mishandled him to hell and back
grotesquely,
but that doesn't matter.
Here's the thing with Vader. I didn't Vader prior to WWE. Like, I didn't follow him. I didn't watch him.
Right.
I was just never around wrestling at that point before the WWF Vader. And let me tell you, WWF Vader really did nothing for me. I take nothing away from the dude. I'm sure he was a very talented guy, and probably his better time was before WWE, before they misused him and everything. But
it absolutely
all
was.
I knew of him was him in WWE, and he did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. From Vader would come out, and I'd go, "Oh, okay, here's this guy, just nothing." And I don't blame Vader for that. I blame the misuse by the company for that.
I would have to say another one of my least favorites, and we actually brought it up as a joke for Ransom's favorite, but the right to censor, just because that fucking shrill fucking alarm, smoke alarm noise.
Yeah,
I hated that.
I loved that.
I hated it just because it literally it was sensory overload. I'm just like, oh my god, is there a fire going? Like, stop it! Somebody shut off your smoke detector. God damn it! Change the batteries. Turn the shit off the oven. Quit burning your pasta. Fucking fix it.
That's exactly why I loved it, because it was that amount of annoyance and just, oh my god, it pissed you off. That theme pissed you off, and it pissed you off to the point where you were like, you know what? I don't care that it's Stevie Richards wrestling. I'm going to watch this match because now I'm just fired up and pissed. Because I had to listen to that buzzer the whole way for them to come to the ring. I just want to see their ass kicked. And it sucked me in, and it kept me interested in every single right to censor match. I feel like that theme, as annoying as it was, I take nothing away from you there, Tom. It was utterly annoying. But it fit that group to an absolute T, because they wanted that group to be the annoying, constant buzzing in your ear. Just go away. Would you please get there? Someone come out here and fuck these guys up. Like, that's what you wanted. And that theme
did that.
Put me in that mindset of I don't care if it's the Godfather. I love the Godfather. But damn it, somebody come out here and beat his ass with Bo Buchanan and shove Stevie Richards' head right up their keister. I'm so over it. But it worked. It worked for them, and it fired me up every single match that they came out and had. I loved that stable.
And that it was a great stable.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back now. Another one that I really a song that didn't do anything for me, and yes, it fit the character, I guess, to a degree. Was Yokozuna's. It did nothing for me. Just I don't care about pipe flutes. That's whatever. It was boring.
Yeah, it was boring. Oh, dude, another one. You ready for this? It always for a long time. If I needed to get in a like a hyped head space or something like that for a long time, you know what one did it for me? Cactus Jack. Yes. It's just like immediately you're like, all right, time to fuck some shit up.
One of those themes that was just strictly electric guitar, but it felt so much better put together, and it felt like it fit that character. Whereas the generic electric guitar didn't seem like it did nothing for me for Dean Ambrose, but it did everything for me for Cactus Jack.
Yeah,
I'll tell you one that's is night and day, and it's the same theme, but just the subtle differences. Well, not so subtle. Compared to if you have the track with voice or not voice, is the New Age Outlaws. With the Road Dogg's voice going, oh, you didn't know? Compared to just hear the
The big walk of silence.
I'm like, no, just no. Like, you couldn't have dubbed his voiceover in fucking post-production. Come on, guys.
All right.
Get real.
All right, really?
Hold on. It's like you couldn't dub his voiceover in post-production, but you can give me a whole I can't wait to be alone with my baby tonight. Come on.
Listen, I'm a sucker for that theme. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I'm a big
I wasn't
sucker.
knocking that one. I actually like that song. I don't care. Fight me. But
yeah,
I like it.
All right. So I have one last thing before we do finally Burrito, because there's some logistical production things I want to talk with you guys before I hit the hay.
Yes.
Okay. If you could have a theme for yourself, if you could have a theme for yourself, any song you want.
Talking to nobody again.
I don't.
Wait,
I
what?
don't know. I don't hear him.
What? What are you talking about?
The Matrix has you, Pooh.
It doesn't have. It's not on my end.
We just heard nothing from you, Pooh, for the last 30 seconds.
Can you hear me?
We can now.
I can hear you now.
It's on the recording. I looked at my thing and I'm like, that had to have been on your end, because I have really good I have
All right, well,
I
really
don't
good.
care what
Dis-
your recording says. I can tell you this: if you're
It's
asking
Discord.
us something, we heard nothing.
Yeah, we
All
got
right.
nothing.
Well,
on that.
I'll tell you what. Give me. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Yes.
Now the recording heard all that, so it's fine. Here's the question: if you could have any song you want be your wrestling theme, what would it be?
Oh God, I think about this all the time, and I was actually just thinking about this the other day as I was driving around, listening to a bunch of music. All right, off the top of my head, one of them would be Slipknot's "Left Behind."
All right. Okay. All right, Tom.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I could see that.
I don't know. I really dig that. I've tried to think of something where I'm like, okay, it's gotta hit hard. It's gotta be good. It's gotta be good in the building and it's gotta be good in the beginning and build, and have a good. It's just gotta carry through strong. But like you have other stuff where like I'm trying to think. I can't remember a number of Metallica songs. A number of Metallica songs, like where there's been one where I'm like, the guitar riff doesn't come until like 3 minutes into the song. So obviously, editing would take care of that. You started from the middle of the song or whatever, but I'm like, nah, it just feels weird. Like, but that one, I don't know. I love the way that one starts. It's like, and then the drums come in and everything. Like I don't know. I really dig that song.
Ransom.
What about you, Ransom?
Well, I have my own entrance theme. You've watched my videos. I have my own. That's my entrance theme.
Good enough.
No, not that. I think it would probably be Black and White by Static X.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
That's my favorite Static X song right there.
Wow.
Like it.
That's awesome. Black and White's a good one. I actually kicked around for a long time. I always said mine would be Get to the Gone by Static X.
Oh, that's another really good one.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the song, but there's a couple Spine Shank songs that I really like too.
For me, it's something that's changed as I've changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like the one I always thought Harvester of Sorrow by Metallica would be a good one, because it's really bludgeoning out of the gate, but then there's a little clean part and then it builds like Tom said. I like that. But then I also like I also really like Tooth and Nail by Dawkins. I think that would be really cool too. But then recently,
I know that one.
It's Tooth and Nail. I understand whenever I say Dawkins, people think like, like 80s like hair metal stuff, but like go get the album Tooth and Nail. It's a great killer. So, and the title track is really good. But then recently, and it's a little more like outside of what a lot of people do, because I've been recommending it to people. It's a song by the band called The Haunted, and it's called Brute Force.
Okay.
Yeah, go take a listen to it. If you've never heard of The Haunted, they're a really great band. Second of all, the song Brute Force is really good. Really good. And it made me go, oh, that could be it. But gun to my head, if I had to pick one, it probably would be Harvester of Sorrow, just because of the vibe of the song.
Yeah, I've ruminated on this. I mean, I've bounced around. Like I said, I've bounced around between stuff from like Slipknot to Spine Shank. I can't remember if I had a Static X song that I would want. It might have been Cold. This is Cold would be good.
I hate this. The song I hate this.
No, This Is Not Me.
Yeah, this is not my life. This is not my home. This is not me. I hate this. Yeah. Or This Is Not. The song. Yeah, This Is Not.
Yeah, This Is Not. Yeah. But I like that. I like that one. Anything like almost anything from Avenged Sevenfold.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean they do such good stuff too.
Yeah.
So I mean, like it's.
Well,
But yeah, a gun to my head, I'd pick Slipknot's Left Behind.
that's a good one. Ransom. I'm most surprised at yours because like that's a good pick. Black and White is a good pick. Like that's
definitely my favorite
particularly
Static
good
X
one.
song. Yep, that's my favorite. I'm getting hungry though, Poot.
What was that?
He said he
I'm
was getting hungry.
though.
Are you getting hungry? You want a burrito?
I do.
All right, I can burrito. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a really fun episode. By the way, I can answer Beef's question. His entrance theme would be blue velvet. That's what it would be. Right, Beef? Right? Yeah, it would. All right. She wore blue velvet. Wah, wah,
I always
wah.
figured something that Beef would come to the ring to would definitely be something. Yeah, probably Barbie Girl, I think.
Well, Life in Plastic is fantastic.
Well,
Ask Charlotte, she knows.
Oh, okay. No, Beef actually had the song by Rob Zombie, Scum of the Earth. And that was a really good one. That was a good one. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to this episode of the P3 podcast. It's great to be back. I can't wait until next week when we're back in complete full idiot force. It'll be fantastic. I want to thank our sponsors for this episode. I want to thank Mr. Tiger.
Uppercut.
Bomb Tom, our reigning, defending, undisputed cruiserweight champion, and also the owner-operator of Casual Gaming Dad on Facebook. He is Casual Gaming Dad, and you should go check out Casual Gaming Dad on Facebook and join Casual Gaming Dad's Corner. You can check out his YouTube channel. That's Casual Gaming Dad. He's the only one on there now, and you can check him out on Twitch at Casual Gaming Dad 84. Does a lot of awesome live streams. We play Among Us every Tuesday. That's a lot of fun. And also, make sure you donate stars on Facebook to Casual Gaming Dad because you might be the winner of his giveaways that he does, like this guy right over here who won a Pokeball popcorn maker.
Bullshit.
And it's
Could have been me.
It
should have been Ransom.
It should have been Ransom. I got it and I looked at it and I was like, when the fuck do I make popcorn? Well, now I guess.
But you will now.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't, then it'll be one of the many treasure troves in the house of Bard, to go along with the 5 sewing machines and the 24 lamps and the whatever else you got there. You know.
We actually have been
Ate the cat that killed the rat that lived in the house that Poot's dad built.
we actually have been cleaning out House Bard.
That is awesome to hear. Very good.
Yeah,
very good.
And there have been some changes, but it will be added to my treasure trove of knickknack insanity.
Listen, I will say this: if it's something that you're not going to put to use, and you know somebody else that would like it, I'm not going to be offended if you give it away. Just be honest about it. If you just say, you know what, Tom, I know somebody that's really super into Pokemon and would really, really like this. Do you care if I give it to him?
Well,
it's your prize. You do what you want with
honestly, and I wasn't going to say this on the podcast, but since you brought it up that way, what I thought about doing with it was the school that my sister works at. It's why am I afraid of saying this? It's a private Catholic school.
Get it out!
Easy. It's the God, calm down. It's the private. It's a private Catholic school, and they do a bazaar every year, and they have giveaways. And I was like, man, this would be a really cool prize for one of the kids. Like,
Yeah.
you know. And I was like, man, that would be really cool to do. But then again, I do want to throw something across my kitchen and say, popcorn, I choose you. I really do.
Well, I'll tell you what. When and if you do offer it up at the bazaar, you know, you can throw some of my business cards in there because I slipped some in there for you.
Oh, I saw that. I love the
with
card.
A nice little personal thank you. Oh, you got, okay? So you actually got it already.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I missed that part.
It was very
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, I actually got it. It was very cool.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah, it was really fast.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Real quick, one slight little sponsor note I got to throw in there. Ya boy is divisional leader in his division in the Facebook Retro Gaming League. So for those of you that kind of sports a little bit or are familiar with how divisions and stuff and setup are in sports. So we have the Nintendo conference and the Sega conference. I'm currently division leader in the Link division. And currently, if the playoffs started now, the number one's the playoffs. I'm the number one seed in the Nintendo conference. So basically, this week here is the last week of the regular season. I'm in the playoffs regardless, hoping to make a championship run finally.
That'd be awesome.
Dude, the closest I got was season 1 whenever we did the league, and I got to the semifinals. And I got beat out by Inertiatic's gaming page on freaking Gauntlet because I never played Gauntlet before in my life. So, but regardless, this is the last week of the regular season, and we're playing Prince of Persia on the SNES, which is, I don't want to get into that.
That's a big oof.
So if I win, I'm the number 1 seed. If I lose, at worst, I'll be number 2 seed. So basically, I'm playing to maintain my number 1 seed spot in a first round bye in the playoffs. So fingers crossed, we get to the championship here.
Awesome. Well, good luck to Mr. Casual Gaming Dad. Hopefully you can make that championship run and add to your collection of gold. We also want to thank Mr. Sean Tischler and his work with IWC. I can't wait for more independent wrestling and to see these guys who are making such big moves. It really is inspiring to see them chasing and achieving their dreams, and also getting to see them in more intimate settings. Support your local indies, ladies and gentlemen. That's where you're going to see the future stars of the industry. Also, again, and I know I've already shilled out enough for this, but I also want to thank Mr. Bill Apter for talking to me so much and for saying nice things about the podcast and everything. It was really good talking to you, Bill. And if you are listening to this, hopefully we can talk to you very, very soon. And also thank you to Brandon for having me down. The trip to Georgia was phenomenal. If you ever get the chance to go to Atlanta, do it. It is a really great town, and it's absolutely gorgeous down there. And also we want to thank our very own Mr. Beef. We want to thank also, before we thank him, we want to thank our other sponsor. That's right, Ransom the Madman and his channel, Frig Off Ransom. Go check him out. He is one of the funniest sons of bitches I've ever met in my life, and he does a really great job of being entertaining and hilarious. He's the best. Check him out and give him a subscribe and a like, and tell him Poot sent cha. And also,
by the way, Poot.
Yes.
Before you continue on this diatribe, Ransom has a shirt now.
He does.
So strap in, idiots.
Oh, good. You're not.
The Ransom on the front. On the back of the shirt, it says, "You plumb done gone, dad gum did it now, son." Because, Ransom and Trucker Hat Dave, we collaborate together.
Where can you buy that?
Nowhere. It's not for sale. Fuck yourself. No. You can get yourself a free Ransom shirt once I reach 20 subscribers, because let's face it, I'm a fledgling, stupid little dumb YouTube channel that has my stupid face talking nonsense on my porch. That's what I do. And damn it, it's stupid. But I think I'm at 18 subscribers now, fledgling. Once I reach 20, I'm going to draw a random subscriber and I'll send you a Ransom shirt. And then every time I hit a 10 subscriber milestone, I'll have another drawing and I'll send out some shirts, because hell, you can't buy them, but damn it, you can get one for free.
I hope that I get one day.
I
want to give a shout out to Mr. Beef the Legend. Hopefully you're enjoying your vacation, buddy, and hopefully you get some good downtime. We know, joking aside, you deserve it. For myself, the Barbarian, Poot the Bard, Mr. Frigoff himself, Ransom the Madman, and Mr. Tiger.
Uppercut.
Face
You want
plant.
Faceplant Bomb Tom.
Wow.
We want to thank you for listening. And also, hey, Chaos Jester, good luck.
That sounded
Sucker.
very homoerotic. Wow.
Damn it.